We now welcome in the man himself, Worldwide Windy, our senior writer, Brian Windhorst, who today is in Lille and will be with Team USA every step of the way. So, Brian, we just ran through the exhibition slate here. This team is undefeated, but these haven't necessarily been the dominant performances, rather, that everyone stateside has been expecting. So what's the mood around the team with opening ceremonies just a couple of days away now?
Yeah, Steve Kerr was really not happy watching the film back of the way the team played Monday night against Germany. They won that game by 4 points, but the big number, Malika, 28. That's how many more three-pointers Germany took than the Americans in that game. Now, that is absolutely an unacceptable math problem. They are never going to be successful if their opposition gets that many more three-pointers. He really felt that their pace was off. The way the Americans play in these events, these international events, is they use their depth and overall star power to beat the competition. That means you play to exhaustion, you play high tempo, and your speed and your strength and your athleticism overcomes the fact that you don't have a lot of chemistry together.
Right.
Germany did what Serbia will probably try to do on Sunday, and other teams here, they want to slow the game down, and it worked. So they're going to work on that for sure. They worked on it at practice today here in Lille, where they finally arrived after playing 3 games on 3 different continents, and I expect that to be a major focus as they head towards Sunday.
Oh, and the margins of error, Wendy, they're even slimmer if this team is not at full strength, and the biggest question mark surrounding this group is if and when the all-time leading scorer in United States history is going to be able to take the floor. So what's the latest on Kevin Durant that you're hearing?
Okay, let's have a conversation about Kevin Durant.
Okay.
He practiced today, and it was a non-contact practice day. They didn't scrimmage. It was just a regular practice, shooting and going over preparations for Serbia. The plan is for him to scrimmage tomorrow back in Paris, where the team is going to go, and then they're going to reevaluate things when they get through that scrimmage. Now, Malika, Kevin was not happy with me when he saw the TV report that I made a couple of days ago that I wasn't sure he was going to be able to reach all the steps in order to play against Serbia on Sunday. That's because he's been working very, very hard to get back from this calf injury. Playing for the national team is extremely important to him. He's playing in his 4th Olympics. But the truth is that Steve Kerr has delayed his window. Initially, they said that he was going to be able to hopefully play in one of the 2 games in London. Not only did he not play in London, Steve Kerr then spelled out he wanted him to go through several practices in a scrimmage before considering him playing him ahead of Serbia. So they've slowed him down. Kevin is anxious to play, wants to play, doesn't think it's going to be an issue. So we'll see how the next few days goes, and I'm going to take a step back and not upset Kevin anymore and not take off the table on Sunday against Serbia. But he does have to get through, a couple of more days and that scrimmage tomorrow.
Well, perhaps there is an abundance of caution that's happening here. It sounds like there's a lot of parties involved, and certainly you can understand Steve Kerr, who had a front row seat to the way this story played out the last time, wanting to make sure there are extra steps taken here. Brian, we are always happy with you, or maybe as the French would say, c'est bon, here on NBA Today. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so very much for spending a little bit of time with us. Please enjoy your travels.
Bonsoir, Malika.
I always get happy in France when you get to transition from saying bonjour to bonsoir. There's something that's a little bit more
bonsoir,
je ne sais quoi about this. All right, enough with our amateur French. Kevin Durant is the United States all-time leading scorer in the men's Olympic history. His impact, it's unquestioned, right? While he's seeking his 4th gold medal, a feat no other men's American basketball player has ever achieved to this point, his status, as Brian talked about, is still in question here. Steve Kerr said this morning it's going to be a big collaboration between all sorts of parties. You can understand why the Suns don't want to rush him back and just say, hey, let's throw him out there. It's not that situation for KD. But, Chiney, just point blank, do they need him in order to win?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They need Kevin Durant just because the USA, their offense has not been fluid. Stephen A. likes to use that word, fluid. I wish I knew what that was in French. Y'all can tell me on social media. Their offense hasn't been fluid, and he is exactly that when he's on the floor. He is a fluid scorer at 7 feet. Again, this is a guy that is the all-time leading scorer in men's basketball history, 3 Olympic golds, and he's the ultimate mismatch on the perimeter. And you know if you pass it to him, 1, he's going to be efficient, but 2, he's going to get a good look because he can literally rise up and shoot over everybody. I also think that a lot of the questions would have been answered because Team USA has been cycling through their wings. Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, trying to find who is that next guy to fill in the gap. If you have KD out there, those problems are not as big.
I also think, I like that Brian said Kevin was not happy with me. I like that because it's one of the things, like, Kevin is from this era where you handle your own business. Like, if you're not happy, if you want, like, he's saying, I'm going to play. Like, that's what he's trying to say.
Yep.
And I think that it's the fact that he's pushing for it, the fact that he is that committed to it is saying everything. And you know, this is, I know there's a lot of cooks involved here. There's the Suns got to be involved. Team USA's got to be involved. Steve Kerr has been in this position with a Kevin Durant calf injury as a head coach back in the 2019 finals. And obviously that's always in the back of everybody's mind. But the fact that Kevin is this strong, and I think it's also a sign of respect for how much Team USA values Kevin Durant, that they're letting him go this long without having played. Like, Kawhi Leonard had some injury issues, and they were like, sorry, we can't do it.
But Ramona, don't you think that it also is a sign of how much Kevin Durant values this opponent in Serbia? Because I feel like no game is a walk in the park, per se.
I agree with that, but I was actually thinking, okay, we're not necessarily saying, and Brian's not reporting, that Kevin Durant's going to miss the entirety of these Olympics. He's talking about the first game against Serbia. And if there was one to miss, I know you can't overestimate any opponent, but we just walked through their first 5 exhibition games. The one opponent that they blew out of the water from start to finish was Serbia. So if he's going to miss a game, maybe there is a comfort level.
But we've seen games in exhibition where teams are close, but then the USA blows out.
Absolutely.
So, like, sometimes there's no perfect math to know how the opponent's going to react because they already saw your first hand.
Yeah.